What's going on, guys? It's Mark from M3 Finish Mobile Detailing, back into the video, and today I want to talk about 3 things you should know before starting a mobile detailing business, especially in 2026. And also, I'm going to tell you guys about my journey and if I quit mobile detailing. Let's get to it. So before starting off, the 3 tips you should know, I just want to give you guys an update on how I'm doing in my mobile detailing business. I've been detailing for 9 years, about to hit 10, and a lot of times, a lot of people in detailing want to hit a certain criteria or a certain limit, and what I'm at today is what I've been waiting for a long time. Over almost 10 years it took me to get to where I'm at today. So if I'm gonna turn over the camera, and as you see, we have a new shop now, mobile detailing right here, and then we have all of our services listed right here. So we do a lot of ceramic coatings, paint protection film, window tint, and also we're gonna be selling detailing products here eventually in the future, and we're doing spot-free water. So if anybody is in Southern California, in the IE area in Chino, make sure to stop by. If you guys mention you've seen us on YouTube, I might give you guys 100 gallons on me, but I'm gonna walk you guys through the shop right here. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm gonna do like a vlogging kind of style of video. So right now I'm gonna show you guys what the shop looks like inside. So I'm gonna flip over the camera. So as we go inside, this is where all the clients are gonna be waiting for all the services. So, you know, they just chill right here. They can watch Netflix, YouTube, etc. I'm gonna get it all dialed in later. I had to move in here in 3 days. So as you look right here, we're building the office, etc. And then we're gonna be putting up the retail side. So if anybody is interested, make sure to hit us up on Instagram at M3 Finish. Any brands wanna work out with us, I'll really appreciate it. So that would be that side. Then we got the DI spotless system right here. This is our 1,000-gallon tank. Then we got the restroom. I'm not gonna walk you through there. And then we got some of our products right here. We're rocking with a little bit of Armor Detail Supply, a little bit of Stinger, a little bit of Shine Supply. A lot of the stuff is in the van as well. We got Clean by Pen, and then I do window tinting as well, but I'm not gonna dive into that. Then we got the Mighty, then we got the steamer. What sucks is about my steamer, the VX5000 gave out, so that's what I'm rocking with right now. This is my tint setup, but like I said, I'm not gonna go into that. And this is all we have right here. So another thing too I wanna show you guys, these are my paint correction lights to get good correction in. They're Sabres. So if anybody is interested, I'll drop a link down below, but these are great paint correction lights. I got this light from Shine Supply, not from Shine Supply, but Jeremy showed us what lights to pick. So this is a great light. And then I got my pressure washer set up right here. Got the Max Flow dialed in. Let me know what you guys think about the Max Flow. I've been using it. I love it. For around $400 or $500, this is a banger. This right here is gonna be this rear hose right here. It's a retractable one. That's one thing I like about it. On my mobile van, I have a Cox rear hose, and I don't really like it as much because I have to wind it up. Then we got Flexzilla extension cords. And then we got a retractable air compressor with a Tornador. I need to paint this, so don't mind that. And then if anybody wants to fill up, it's right here as well. So yeah, that's the walkthrough of the shop. Now let's get to the 3 things you must know. All right, guys, the first thing I want to talk about today is tip number 1 is keeping your overhead down in running your mobile detailing business. Reason being, you got to keep your profit high and your overhead low. When you're first starting out detailing, you want to buy the new steamers, the new extractors, the new vacuums, the new ceramic coatings, the new products out there, and it's a big rabbit hole to dive into. When I first started off, I wanted to buy the new polishers, everything that you want, I wanted to buy it. So the thing is to keep in mind, buy what you need in your core essentials first when you're first starting off. You need a vacuum, you could do a Ridgid. You need a pressure washer, you could do Ryobi, you could do electric pressure washer. You could do whatever you want, just keep it low cost. For products, I would recommend maybe checking out 3D, Superior, or maybe there's another brand called Stinger. Those are the brands that would be more efficient and also budget friendly, and they give great results. I would highly recommend those ones. Those are good brands. If anybody ever use them, drop it down in the comments below. But yeah, just keeping your overhead down is the most important thing when detailing. I see a lot of new detailers out there that they first start off, they get a brand new setup from H2O, they get a Metris, a Ford Transit Connect, And then in that time frame, they're not knowing if they wanted to still do it or not. So in that year, they usually start off in the summertime. They try to make as much money as they can, thinking it's going to be a side hustle, not a full-time thing. And it ends up being, majority of the time, it ends up being a lot that they can handle, because when you're on TikTok, a lot of people are like, hey, start a mobile detailing business, a 6-figure business within 3 months. Like I said, I've been detailing for 9 years, about to be 10 years, and I barely ended up here today. I just barely moved in my shop 3 days ago. So nothing's an overnight success. It's a lot of time that comes into running your mobile detailing business. First, you gotta get the job done. So you gotta do the work. Then you gotta get great customer service. Then you gotta be a business owner. So for instance, you gotta make sure your inventory is done. You gotta make sure your pressure washers are serviced, everything like that. You gotta have a lot of hats when you're detailing. It's just not one thing. So a lot of people, when they see us detailing and they go, oh man, you're the owner, you make a lot of money, or you know, they have certain, I guess, perspectives on you, on what you do, or this guy works so hard. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot that goes within detailing. So getting the business down, you have to do that. Then you got to get the work done, and then you have to be like, if you're going to be like an entrepreneur or something like that, then you have to get your employees aligned as well. A great boss, a great leader. So that's a good thing that I also wanted to talk about as well. And I want to give respect to a guy out there that just started the YouTube channel. His name is Out the Truck Detailing. I really admire his hustle, because he started off in a Honda, and this guy's just been killing it. I've been watching his channel. Make sure to check him out. He's in the area, so I'm hoping he stops by at the shop. So whenever you see this, 100 gallons on me. But yeah, man, like I said, this guy, he works hard. He doesn't necessarily care about how people perceive him as. For instance, when I first started off, I had a guy that was my first high-end client. I had a beat up van, or not even a van, it was a truck. It was beat up, and then the guy came up to me. He's like, you're gonna wash this Ferraris and Dodge Viper ACRs and Corvettes, and this beat up car is not that nice. You're touching like a $250,000 car. So it really took a toll on me. So that's what happened for me to get a setup right away, and it put a lot of pressure on me because I wanted it to look presentable and more professional. But that's not true, because anybody out there that's detailing, as long as you have a good presentation and you got the work, doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter how you look like. I mean, yeah, keep your car clean, have a nice button-up polo, you know, be professional. I see a lot of guys that have been detailing out of their Hondas or whatever, and I really admire them just doing it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Overhead down and profit high. Let's get to tip number 2. All right, guys, so you got the number 1 dialed in, keeping your overhead down. The second thing I want to talk about is stop comparing yourself to other people out there. For instance, when I first started detailing, I had some guys that I ran with, and I started looking on Instagram when you following them. And in 2 years to 3 years, they had their shop ready all dialed in. And when I was on 3 years, I was still trying to figure out my clientele. I wasn't necessarily established as much. So I was like, man, am I doing something wrong? What do I gotta do? So that's the thing too, to keep in mind. Everybody's journey is different. It took me almost 10 years to be where I'm at today. Well, it took another guy 3 years. But like I said, we don't know what's going on. We don't know, the grass looks always green on the other side. And that just robs you from your joy and also your progress and peace. For me, I was just a lot stress going on just because like I wanted to become fast and I want to become established overnight. But overnight success doesn't happen, like I said, overnight. It takes time. It takes time to grow. So remember, when you're growing in your detailing business, remember, just have patience and don't give up. There's multiple times in my mobile detailing business I wanted to give up. A lot of people that, you know, just looking at them, comparing yourself to them, or for instance, some people broke into my van, stole my stuff, or you're hiring somebody and they want to just use you to learn as much and then they go somewhere else. At the end of the day, what's meant to be is meant to be. And if you're meant to strive in your mobile detailing business and grow, nothing's going to stop you. Remember, guys, you are in control of whatever you got going on. So just keep that in mind. Just always keep working hard and smarter. It has to do both. Because if I'm working hard from 7 to 7 every day, you're going to get burnt out mentally. For me, I remember when I first started off, I had a detail like five years straight, just 7 days a week, just try to get this thing going. But then I remembered at that time frame, I started getting burnt out mentally. And I mean, yeah, I was young, but like you have to keep in mind, you gotta be at a steady pace. It's not a race, it's gonna be a marathon for you guys out there. So as a mobile detailer, like I said, detailing for 9 years, it's gonna be hot. You're gonna have that summer heat where on us in California, we're not too hot out here. I know in Arizona, it's like 110, 115 out there. For us, it's like 100 degrees, 105 is like killing us. But to keep in mind, just keep growing and keep growing. And other than that, we're gonna get to number 3. So the next third tip I wanna talk about is organization. For me, I remember when I first started off, I was just booking clients through my phone, not saving any names, not saving addresses or numbers. I was just saying, hey, this appointment is at this date and at this time, maybe the address, and then that's it. So I have it all in my notes. I didn't have any notifications, any reminders, anything like that. So I had to be on point. And I know everybody out there that, you know, you get a late night text from, like, say for instance, like 6 o'clock, your client texts you, hey, I wanna book that appointment. What do you have available? And say for instance, if someone did cancel, you're gonna fill them in and then you just totally forget. You don't book it. You technically do book it, but you just don't put it in your phone. And that's where those slip ups happen, where you just like, you get those texts, hey, are you coming soon? Or what's going on? And that's the thing that puts you guys in jeopardy of your reputation. So like I said, for me and my detailing business, we have Google, we have Yelp, a lot of platforms out there, and it could hurt your guys' reputation just for one slip up. So remember to keep in mind, you have to be understanding of people's time, and you have to be punctual, and also just be more organized. And like for anybody out there that's interested, make sure to check it out. Like for any CRM app, if you're running through like a bunch of apps out there, what we use is Jobber. Jobber's gonna help you guys, like I said, be efficient, give your clients reminders, and also just be more organized. This is not really gonna be, I guess, it's kind of like a plugin, but I just wanna show you guys that it is possible to be organized using those apps. Those apps are gonna help you stay on task and also just get the reviews that you need. And another thing too, if anybody out there that is starting off, make sure to start off with maybe Google or Yelp. Give yourself a little bit of time to grow and get a system dialed in. Just because when I say that, you don't want to say, for instance, on day one, open a Yelp account or a Google account, and then after you're slower, you don't know necessarily what you're doing. You don't want to get that bad review right away. Like, this guy took too long, or this guy didn't show up on time, you know? So I want you guys to, when you first start off, just, get the flow of it going. And then from there, build up like a system. And then you could build your reviews like Google and Yelp, just because, like I said, I don't want you guys to put your reputation at risk when you're first starting off. When I first started off, I didn't have any Google or any Yelp. I just had OfferUp, to be honest with you. We're running our business through OfferUp and Facebook. Those things go hand to hand, but you remember those clients as well are gonna be the more harder clients, because like I said, if anybody OfferUp, there's a reason why it's called OfferUp, because you're looking for the cheapest thing out there. And then for the Facebook, it's a little bit hit and miss, but usually Facebook on those connection pages, they're looking for, hey, what's the best guy out there, but for the cheapest rate. So keep that in mind as well. How you get business, I would recommend just doing word of mouth. That's gonna be the best business out there for any detailer, just because, for instance, if this guy, Joe, got this car detailed by us, and Joe's like, you know what, you gotta try this guy, he's amazing. He's gonna tell that guy to keep going, like, oh my God, your car looks so clean. Yeah, dude, this guy Mark does it from such and such. And then from there, it builds you more trust into the client. So that's how you get more business going. And then also, like I said, in the future, you could get the reviews and get those platforms going. But also make sure to vlog, make sure to check out all your stuff. Everything's legit. And then also, I would say, make an Instagram right away, and just keeping everything vlogging style, like for instance on your stories, or post anything like, hey, just did a hell out restoration. And another thing too as well, I wanna talk about a lot of people out there that run this mobile detailing business. They wanna get everything all situated. Like I said in the beginning, for me, I wanted to get a shop right away. I wanted to do every service as possible. But remember, I would say stick to one thing at a time. When I first started, I wanted to do paint corrections and coatings, but I wasn't there yet. So if you're trying to build your mobile detailing business, I would say start off with the maintenance, and then after you want to keep it going, then you could do the interior details, and then from there do the paint corrections, or you could take a class. Remember, everything takes patience and everything takes repetition. You're not going to be a paint correction specialist overnight, or you're not going to be a paint correction specialist if you go to a 3-day training and then you come back and then you're like, dude, I'm ready to kill it. Everything is a case-by-case scenario, and also everything requires time and patience. So other than that, guys, we're gonna be wrapping up this video. Let me know what you guys think about the 3 things I have listed, and make sure to support us on YouTube by subscribing, dropping a like, and leaving a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.